um, our RSVPs, because the hope at the end of our open house is to allow time for some actual questions and some interaction. So we will begin, and if anybody else comes in, Shelly, go ahead and let him in, and we do know we are recording, so we can always pass it off to anybody else that missed the beginning. So welcome. I am Christine Penwell, the principal here at St. Rose. We are really excited to have you join our first ever St. Rose School virtual open house. We are really thrilled to have you here, and we are really looking forward to sharing about our sweet school with you this evening. So like I said, my name is Christine Penwell. Sometimes we go by Principal Penwell because there's another Penwell on staff. So that's just kind of the clarification for that. But I have been blessed to be a part of this school since 2010. I started out as the second grade teacher and am now in my third year as principal. So this is a really loving and welcoming community, and I'm very proud to be a part of the school as well as the parish. We are going to begin our event with a few words from our St. Rose of Lima pastor, Father Matt Libra. We are really blessed to have Father Matt as our leader. He cares deeply with all his heart about everyone. He supports the school in tons of aspects, and he really helps to educate and care for all the teachers, the students, and their families. So I'm going to let Father Matt take it away.
He is just joining us, Christine, so you might have to.
Okay.
Yep, he's just connecting to audio.
All right. So as Father Matt joins us here, and Father Matt, if you want to give a wave, I can't see everybody on my screen. So, woo! All right. Well, you missed the really kind words I just said about you, but it is recorded, so you can go back to it later. But I will let you jump in to share a little bit about St. Rose.
Well, thank you. Sorry, I'm tardy. Truant, they'll call me. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad to meet you. I usually like this in person, but this is the way we do things nowadays. I'm excited to meet all of you and to welcome you as you discern what's best for your family, for your child or children, and to welcome you to the St. Rose family. I've been here my name is Father Matt Libra, and I've been here, this is my 8th year here now. And one thing I'm always struck by our school, and what I'm very grateful for, is that truly family feel that it has. Things that really express that are when we're in person. The 8th graders they help each class go in. They're the examples, they're the role models. The buddy classes where you have an older brother or sister kind of being there. I saw one of the 8th graders watching a pre-K kid carry his booster seat in, and he just went over and helped him carry it. So it really is that family environment, and we like that to be for you too. Our understanding is that you parents are the most important person, and you're the first teachers for your children, and we want to be that asset for you. I'm a Catholic priest, and this is a Catholic school, and so that's one of the things I'm excited about, that we get to talk about our faith here in this school. We get to pray together. And in normal circumstances, I try to make it into the kids' classroom as often as I can, to give a high five, just to talk with the kids and whatever the teacher's doing, but to support you and to get to know these kids, because I think the kids have a right to know their priest. And I want them to feel free to ask any questions that they have. I'm really grateful for our school. I think it's a great place, and I think I hope it's a good place for you. I don't think this is the time to open up for questions or anything, but I do look forward to getting to meet you one-on-one when we can.
Great. Thank you, Father Matt. All right. One other of the many reasons that makes our school special is because of all of the people in it. And we now would like to take a few minutes to let you guys hear from two of our current parents and they're gonna just speak a little bit about St. Rose, just maybe why they chose to be part of our family, why they continue to be part of our family. We're gonna start with Lindsay Zogus, and Lindsay has a 2nd grade son and a 5th grade son. So Lindsay, thank you, and take it away.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Okay, good. Hello, I'm Lindsay Zogus. Well, thank you for inviting me to speak. I love open houses. I go to every single one every year. It's just a good reminder for me of why we continue to choose St. Rose year after year. So we have 2 boys. Oliver's in 5th grade, Milo is in 2nd, and we are parishioners at St. Rose of Lima. We didn't really intend to send our kids to private school, just didn't know if we could swing it, but by the grace of God, simple twist of fate, the stars aligned, all those things happened, and St. Rose found us just for pre-K. And now here we are 7 years later. So there's so much I love about our school. If you haven't heard this already, you will hear how special our community is. Like Father Matt said, it's a family. So many like-minded families with everybody who really cares about each other and their children. And it's really fun. I'm personally missing out on all the social activities because it's just such a fun group of people, and we can't wait to be together again. Something important I think you should know that yes, it's a Catholic school, so there's obviously religious education, but along with that is the practice and teaching to be an overall kind, loving, respectful human being, and the importance of caring for others. Few examples of this: the kids learn a new virtue every couple of weeks: generosity, orderliness. I think this week is kindness, yeah. They talk about it, incorporate it into their lessons, they practice it. 5th grade collects money for Meals on Wheels. The middle school leadership team hosts a monthly drive to collect items for Blanchet House. Pre-COVID, we did a monthly St. Francis Dining Hall build a lunch. So acts of service, social justice, taking care of others is just such a big part of the St. Rose experience. And our teachers and staff are so wonderful. I love seeing each and every single one of them on the screen. That's like very sweet. They're the best role models that we could ask for, and they truly care about our children's well-being and educating them as a whole person. And they have not skipped a beat since we went to online learning. This is not ideal, and they have just made it feel so normal and made these kids feel so loved and heard and seen. And we really appreciate all the effort. So that's all for now, but I'm happy to talk more if anybody wants to reach out directly. You can get in touch maybe through Shelly, because I know this is a big decision and I love talking about it. So thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. All right, and now we're going to hear from Ben Dudley, who has a 1st grade son and a 3rd grade son.
Thanks. It's exciting to get to share with everyone. So our family was kind of the same. We never had intentions of being in private school, and we were seeking out a preschool. And I think it was about a week into it, we're like, wow, this place is unique, it's special, and I think we're going to be here for a while. There are several things we love about St. Rose, and we just had dinner with my parents, and so I kind of went around the table. I was like, all right, everybody, I'm about to go talk about St. Rose. I want to know, what do you all like about St. Rose? And my 3rd grader just said, I love the teachers are so great. And I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like, the teachers are amazing. They all know our kids, and our kids are doing what's so great in school. That's a priority, right? You're going to school to learn, right? You want them to learn. I asked my dad, who's sitting there, and he said, the kids are so respectful. And he said, I come for Grandparents' Day, and they open the door for me, and they say, yes, sir. And they serve us, and they're just so kind. And that's something unique about St. Rose, is like, I've been in other schools, and kids don't treat adults like that. And there's something different about that. And I really attribute that to the way St. Rose integrates the virtue teaching into the education. And so every 2 weeks, there's a new, I believe that's right, there's a new virtue. And they're learning about character education. It's incorporated into all the activities. So it's not, oh yeah, and by the way, we need to teach you how to be a good human. That's integrated into what they're doing in all aspects of the learning. I asked my 1st grader, and he said he loves having a buddy. And the buddy system at St. Rose is so cool. So from the time that they're in pre-K all the way through, they're either they get paired up with an older kid or they become the buddy for the younger kids. And so my third graders say, next year I get to be a buddy. But what it does is it helps the families to get to know other families. It helps the kids to feel safe and loved. And my wife said that she really loves about St. Rose is that the kids, that every teacher and it seems like every kid knows our kids' names. And there's something really special about being known. And I think if you look at scripture, it talks a lot about God talks about like he knows us. And I think we all seek to be known in life. And so our family, we're not Catholic, and yet we still feel very comfortable. We don't feel any pressure to be Catholic. We just know that we can be Christian and be loved and be supported and be a part of the school. And it's just been great. And my mom said she loves the sense of family, that she's volunteered at the school and she feels welcomed and supported. And for me, I think besides all those great things, I love there's amazing art and music, and those are things that are getting stripped out of public schools. And I just think for a holistic education experience, you need to have those kind of things. Like those are the things that kept me in school as a dyslexic kid who was more interested in doing other things than learning. Music and art, and those were the things that kept me going. And so I'm so grateful that St. Rose doesn't just focus on one thing, that they really see our kids and want to see a holistic learning opportunity for our kids. So I'm really grateful to everyone on this Zoom, all the teachers, and I hope that you choose St. Rose. If you have any questions, our family is happy to answer anything about the school. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Oh my gosh, you just never know what parents are going to say, but it's I think even just the teachers, just getting to hear firsthand from parents about their experience is probably one of the many blessings. And so I hope you all that are listening as well just feel the true love and joy from these families about how much they love us and we love them back. So thank you guys for saying a few things. All right, so we are going to kind of just go to presentation mode right now to kind of share just some specifics about St. Rose School. We're going to share a lot of what our school looks like in a normal time, but then we will also have time near the end where we'll kind of be sharing with you what we have been doing recently with the pandemic. And then we will end with some question and answer time. And there will also be kind of a halftime moment where we'll introduce the staff. And so they'll have an opportunity to say a little something as well. So I am going to share my screen with everybody here. But it'd be helpful to share at the beginning. There we go. Okay. All right. So we do actually use this slideshow when we're in person as well. It's just a good guide for kind of trying to highlight some areas that we are really proud of for our school. Of course, it's hard to highlight everything, but we hope this gives you a good picture of what school would be like, what the kids' days look like, a lot of what Lindsay and Ben shared, just kind of about how we really try to develop and educate the whole child. Hopefully you'll have some ideas of how we do that. And so we're just going to jump in. So our mission, which we have in many different places of our school, is what drives us. It's always good to have a direction you're wanting to go, a goal you're trying to achieve. And so the mission is something we as a school say every day. The kids say it with their teachers in the morning. The staff say it before our staff meetings. And then we also say it as a whole community when we're together at Friday Assembly. So we really work in great partnership with St. Rose Parish. We really are and truly believe we're one campus working together to educate each student. as a child of God, to know and live Catholic faith, and then also to achieve excellence. We have, our school itself has been around for more than 100 years. We started back in 1913, and we have been fully accredited by the Western Catholic Education Association. And that's a kind of a 6-year process that you go through an accreditation process. You write a big report to kind of highlight areas of your school that you're proud of, as well as identifying areas of growth. And then we have a team that comes and they help us see the great things we're doing and help us get on track with areas that we want to grow in. So we actually wrote our big report last year, and we will have our accreditation visit in the next month and a half. And so that's just a great way to just know that we're always being lifelong learners and continuously trying to get better at what we're doing. And then we have a culturally diverse student body that's filled with many different walks of life. And we really just love the diverse culture that we have. Our education, we have a full day pre-K program and kindergarten, and then also our grades 1 through 8. We are just one class of every grade. So we have small, limited class sizes. Our max that we like to keep our class sizes to is 30. And then there are various protocols as far as how large a class is in certain grades when we make sure that we have aid support. We really like to nurture discovery. We really want to challenge and encourage students to be lifelong learners. And virtue education, which our 2 parent testimonies shared about, was just the virtue education, which is habits of the Catholic faith that we're trying to instill in all of our students. And like they mentioned, we do a new virtue every 2 weeks. And the teachers design different activities and lessons around it. There's lots of dialogue about the virtue and then the vices of the virtue, how we can show the virtue, what the virtue might look like. And then Father Matt also does a wonderful job of sharing about the virtue in connection with his homilies at Mass. We have 3 to 4 days a week of PE, and then 2 days of music. Most of our music is kind of split. We do one kind of liturgical music and then one more general music. And then they get the privilege of having 1 day a week of art. And that's also then incorporated different art activities from the classroom teacher, but one designated art teacher with, art lesson with our art teacher. We have a library, which has an integrated technology lab in it, which includes iPads and Chromebooks. And then we have a makerspace, which is truly an area for creativity, for building, for engineering, just a space to problem solve, to learn that it's okay to get things wrong and then figure out mistakes and try again. So we have circuitry down there. We have a Lego center area. We have a few 3D printers, and we're continuously trying to build and develop our makerspace. And so you can kind of picture it as areas where there would be a lot of STEAM and STEM activities, where lots of projects, project-based things. We have numerous extracurricular activities and club opportunities. Some of those have been 4-H. We have done partnerships with OMSI after school. We've done chess club before. Lots of areas it's mostly determined kind of by what our families are interested in and kind of what the need is. And so that's an area we've done. We have a middle school after school play. That's been a huge hit. So lots of areas for opportunities outside of school. We have a really strong CYO athletic tradition. We have a St. Rose athletic director, a parent who volunteers and helps with that. And we have swimming and basketball and all the sports you can think of, and a great opportunity for kids to get involved and learn about sportsmanship and sports. Our sixth grade students get the great opportunity to go to a full week of outdoor school. So that's an opportunity for them to be out in nature and get to learn about just the wonderful things that God has created out in the world. And they do lots of different projects and activities. And then it's also a great opportunity for the class to just bond and create good relationships with their classmates. And then eco partnership is ecology in the classroom. That's another science area that we have developed partnership with. They help us create lessons that are around sustainability and learning about our ecosystem, and just a great way to do a lot of hands-on learning in the science realm. Faith is interwoven in many parts of our day. Some just highlights of faith that you'll see that are that are way more obvious are things like Mass. That is something that we do every week as a school community. We are currently live streaming our Masses every Wednesday, but in a normal time, we are all joining together in Mass and in the church. And like our parents mentioned, we have buddy classes. And so each grade is paired up with another grade and they sit with their buddies at Mass. So it's a great opportunity also to be role models and to share in the faith together. We have a lot of other faith formation activities. We do various prayer services together, like the blessing of the animals for St. Francis. We do peace assemblies for International Peace Day, Earth Day, lots of various ways to just give thanks and praise for the things around us. We do truly believe that you guys, the partners, are the primary educators, and it is just our job to help support you guys in this role of developing your students and your children to be lifelong learners and to be kind people and to be people that just want to keep learning and get better. Service is another area that we really try to instill in all of our students, is just the love and desire to want to support others and not so much think about ourselves. So we really foster within our students a need to just serve their community, whether it's the local or the greater community. Some examples of things we have done are Loaves and Fishes. St. Francis Lunches is a monthly drive with our whole school. We connect with the parish, with St. Vincent de Paul and Catholic Charities. And then there are various service opportunities that are more kind of grade driven. So for instance, second grade has a relationship with a retirement center, and they go and have field trips and visit with the residents and play bingo and do art. Third grade has a relationship with Providence Child Care Center. So there's also special little grade level service as well. And then our middle schoolers, we really try to help them to get out there and serve, and also in partnership with their parents. It's very unique and special to see middle school students, either asking a buddy to go out and do something with them, or even their parents go with them. So we do have middle school service hours requirements. And so they each have a certain amount of hours they need to obtain by the end of the school year. And our middle school team does a great job of providing various opportunities for ideas. And then of course, families and students can come up with their own ideas as well. All right, school life. So I'm going to pause and exit our screen share here to introduce our great St. Rose team here. So we thought the best way to do this was, one, we're all in blue, so you can hopefully pick us out. But we also just wanted you guys to kind of have a face to a grade and a subject, because we know that relationship you have with the teachers and the staff is an important one. So I am just going to go down our list here, and I'm just going to say a staff member's name, and they're just going to take themselves off mute and just say hi and just say how long they've been here at St. Rose. So let's start with our little bitty kiddos that get taught by Linda Coonrath. So go ahead, Linda.
Hello, my name is Linda Coonrath. I teach pre-K at St. Rose. This is my 8th year teaching pre-K, but I've been working at St. Rose since 2004. So it's my 17th year on the staff and part of this community.
Thanks, Linda. All right, Megan.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Knopfsiger, and I'm the pre-K aide, and this is my 3rd year. And I also have a 6th grader who attends the school as well.
Thank you. Molly, Mrs. Monabach.
My name is Molly Monabach, and I am the kindergarten teacher. This is my 4th year at St. Rose, and numerous years in the Archdiocese of Portland and Seattle. I have dedicated my devotion to Catholic education. I've only taught in a Catholic school, and I had 16 years of Catholic education. So I found it hard to separate my faith from my vocation as a teacher. So I love St. Rose.
Thank you. Irene. All right, I wasn't sure if Miss Ortiz was going to be able to pop in or not, but Miss Ortiz is our, right now, she's primarily just a primary aide, and she has specifically helped out a lot in kindergarten, and now she's kind of floating around as well to 1st and 2nd grade and helping that way. So Miss Ortiz is one of our classroom aides. And Colleen.
Hello, my name is Miss Keller. This is my 4th year at St. Rose. I've been working as an aide primarily this year from kindergarten all the way through 5th grade, but I've mainly been in previous years in 2nd grade.
Thank you. Carrie, Mrs. Lesh.
Hi, I'm Carrie Lesh, and I have also been at St. Rose for 4 years. Been teaching in the primary grades for about 20, and then I'm also a parent. I have 2 boys who are in the 4th and 7th grades.
Miss May.
Hi, my name is Joanna May, and I'm the 2nd grade teacher here at St. Rose. And this is my 3rd year here at St. Rose and my 11th year teaching.
Miss Dana.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Dana, and this is my 2nd year teaching at St. Rose and my 5th year as an educator.
Thank you. Mrs. Groven.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Groven, and I think I get the honor of saying I've been here the longest, since 2020 years. So it's a great place. Good testimony.
Thank you. And Mrs. Penwell.
Hi, my name is Katie Penwell, and I have been teaching at St. Rose for 16 years. I'm the 6th grade homeroom teacher, middle school science, and 6th grade social studies. And I have 2 kiddos also attending school there. I have a 1st grader and a 3rd grader.
Thank you. Mr. Marino.
Hey, I'm Mr. Marino. This is my 4th year at St. Rose, and I am the 7th grade homeroom and do middle school math and 7th grade social studies.
Awesome. Mrs. Fisher.
I'm Barb Fisher, and I am homeroom 8th grade, middle school language arts, and 8th grade social studies. I've been at St. Rose for 19 years, right after Mrs. Groven, and I've been teaching for 34 years, and all 34 in middle school. And I've also had 2 girls graduate from here.
Wonderful. Miss Zielinski.
Hi, I'm Sarah Zielinski. I teach music for grades pre-K through 8th grade, and then I'm also the middle school religion teacher, and this is my 2nd year at St. Rose School.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna kind of go out of order, but not really, because Mrs. Blair has rules and hats that she wears, so she'll explain that.
Hi, I'm Erica Blair. This is my 16th year at St. Rose and my 21st year teaching. the last several years, I have served as the learning specialist at St. Rose. This year I am teaching 4th grade, but next year I'll be back in the resource room, working back as the learning specialist. I also have a son who goes to St. Rose. He is in my class this year. That's been lots of fun. So yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you, Erica. Dan Wojtek.
Hi, I'm Dan Wojtek. I'm library media specialist at St. Rose School. This is my 7th year at St. Rose, and I've been working in school libraries since 2008, and libraries even further back than that. So nice to see y'all.
Miss Christine.
Hi, my name is Leslie Christine. I teach pre-K through 8th grade physical education. I've been at St. Rose for 5 years, and I've been teaching for 30 years.
Awesome. Miss Beatty.
There we go. Why did it have to not be flawless? Darn, I'm so sorry. I'm Sue Beatty, and I am the artist in residence. I've been here 8 years playing that role, and enjoying every minute of it.
Wonderful. Mrs. Randazzo.
Hi, I am Mary, and I am the office admin / administrative assistant, and this is my 16th year in the office. But I really feel like I've been around St. Rose forever because my 2 girls graduated from here. So I was a parent prior to that, and then I actually went to school here. So I've been around for a long time.
Awesome. And Mrs. Megan Schuver.
Hi, I am Megan, Mrs. Schuver. Like Mrs. Randazzo, I also went to school here growing up. And then my husband and I have graduated 5 kids from St. Rose. I worked as an aide for 2 years, and I'm currently in the role of development coordinator.
Fabulous. And Mrs. Davidson.
Hi, my name is Shelley, and I am the marketing and communications director at St. Rose, and I've been here for about 5 years. And I also have a 2nd grader and a 7th grader who go to school here.
Awesome. And the only other one we don't have present right now is Anne McCoy. She is our business manager. So she is someone you would talk to if you want some support with either financial aid or questions kind of on tuition. So she is a great aspect of our team also. So I hope you enjoyed just getting to hear a little bit from the staff about who they are, because it really is who makes us special, and they work so well together. It is very much a team effort of just supporting one another. And so I have been blessed to be colleagues of these people in a different role and now be supporting them in this new admin role. And it's been wonderful to work with each and every one of them. So, all right, we are going to head back to our presentation here. And then, like I said, we will have a few minutes at the end where you can ask some questions, but we wanted to make sure you got to meet our staff. So we do have 10 full-time teachers. And then like Mrs. Blair mentioned, she was moved this year to our 4th grade position due to a staffing change. And it was just honestly the best decision we could make for the 4th grade class, as they had to embark on distance learning at the beginning of the year. And we wanted them to be with a teacher that they knew and was comfortable with. And she also has many years as teaching 4th grade. So she will be going back to our learning resource specialist next year. And then our counselor was also something that was put on pause this year due to COVID. And so that will also be a position we will be bringing back next year. And we have our PE teacher, we have our library librarian media specialist, we have our art teacher and our music teacher who you also met, and then of course our wonderful support staff, as well as classroom aides and administration. So that is the team. Just a few kind of basic things also to share with you is that we do have uniforms for all of our grades. You'll notice in some of the pictures that you can fully see the uniform and what it looks like with the logo, and then you might see some other pictures where they're not in uniform. And so those are our days where we have free dress, and the kids love free dress, but they also love the uniforms. And I think after having free dress for so long right now in distance learning, they're going to be happy to get back in some uniforms. But so we do have a uniform policy. We do have a before and after school program. We work with a company called Champions, and they come on site to our school for a before program from 7 to 8. And then they come again at the end of the school day from 3 to 6. So that is a program offered to all students, and you can sign up kind of on a week-to-week basis based on need. We also have a company we work with for hot lunch service, and so they have various items for hot lunch as well as cold lunch items, a salad bar, and so that's also something you can sign up for just the night before, and you can have the lunch service the following day. So that is just based on use, so you just kind of pay as you use it. A snapshot of really what our day looks like. We have an arrival time between 7:40 and 8, and then school officially starts at 8. Our dismissal time is 3 o'clock, except for Wednesdays, where we have an early release for our staff meetings. These are our current numbers for our tuition. The Catholic subsidized amount is if you are a member of a Catholic parish, and then the pre-K and non-Catholic rate, is right below that. And then we just like to make note of what the true cost to educate a student is, and that we charge under that. We really try to keep our robust programs and subjects. And so that's just an area that we are proud of to be able to charge under the true cost. We do have tuition assistance available, and we really, really want to be able to help families that need financial assistance. So I really want to encourage anybody on this call that if finances is a challenge, we are here to help and support the best way that we can. And we use a confidential service called Fax, and it's an online application that you can fill out if financial aid is something that you need. Volunteerism is something that makes our school special. Lindsay Zogus, our parent, mentioned that she loves coming and seeing people and getting to visit. And we really love having opportunities for families to join in, or grandparents or aunts and uncles. So we have lots of various volunteer ways that you can do that. Some of those include going on field trips with your kids. Some of that includes helping on various fundraisers. We have a jogathon, we have an auction, and we have other various things that you can do, like the father-daughter dance you can help in. So lots of different ways to just get involved and have fun, and really just invest in your child's education by also just investing in the community and really getting to know everybody. Because like they mentioned, in a small community like ours, it's really great to be able to know people from different grades, their kids, and their parents. A little bit about what we are currently doing, because this has been going on, I think, a lot longer than most of us would have wished. But I will say I am really proud of our staff and how we are really continuing with learning for our students in a very uncertain and challenging time. So what it looks like for us right now is that pre-K, our littlest learners, are in the building, and they are learning full-time in person under our emergency childcare license. So they are wearing their masks, and they are doing wonderful. So that's been great to have the littlest ones on campus, and they're ruling our school because they're the only ones in person. So it's going to be a little different for them once they see bigger kids that are around. But I know Mrs. Coonrath and Miss Nofsinger has loved seeing them in person. And then our kindergarten through 8th grade are currently still learning under our comprehensive distance learning program. So what that looks like is there is a lot of synchronous learning, which is live instruction from the teachers. And then there is some asynchronous learning, which is either recorded lessons or videos being sent out, or activities for them to do using their textbooks. We have a material exchange every week. So we are handing off items from the teacher to the student. And that way we are trying to balance as much as we can the screen time, and especially at the younger ages, really working on the hands-on materials that they need. So we're doing that every week. We have a little drive-through and we just do a little handoff. Every grade is meeting in the morning for a morning meeting with their class to just continue to build community and a great classroom environment that begins with prayer and pledge and our creed and our mission, and then just kind of, you know, what's going on today. Some of the classes shared jokes every day. It's just kind of a great opportunity for the classroom teacher just to get to have time with their class. And then we have a live art every week. And then our PE and music, we decided to split up. And so there is one live PE each week and one recorded lesson each week, and the same with music. One music is live and one music is recorded. And then every Friday at 8 a.m., we join on Google Meet as a school community, and we have a live assembly. Mrs. Blair, our 4th grade teacher, leads that. And during that time, we share a prayer together. We do our virtue that we're learning, and we have different ways that the kids are learning about the virtue. We acknowledge birthdays, and we have a student who sings our birthday song to our birthday students. We share shout outs, great things that our students are caught doing each week that the teachers submit. And so it's just a great community building time. And then we also have, like I mentioned before, a live mass every Wednesday. And so that is taking place, and our staff goes to the mass in person, safely distanced, and then we stream to those that are learning at home. So that is a little bit of where St. Rose is currently. And we're nearing the end. So before I jump to this last part, if you joined a few minutes late and you weren't able to hear me at the beginning, if you could please put your first name and last name in the chat box, just so we can identify who attended our open house, that would be great. So thank you if you haven't done that yet. And so the next thing would be kind of just what's next. So you have attended this open house to learn more about St. Rose. And so it will now be up to you as a family just to kind of discuss what's best for you and your child. And if you are feeling like St. Rose might be a great fit for you, we'd love for you to apply online. And once you apply online, Mrs. Randazzo will contact you and she will talk with you about next steps. If you have already applied and you are joining us on this open house, then your next step will be that Mrs. Randazzo will reach out to you about meeting with me one-on-one. One of my favorite things is just meeting the families and getting to know each individual family and their kids. And so this will be an opportunity for me to get to meet with each of you privately and just hear about your kids and what you look for in your new school. So our last item is just if there are any questions. So I will stop sharing my screen. All right. Okay. So if there are any questions, I would love to answer them now. If you had any specific questions that are more kind of driven, that are more personal, I would ask that you save those for the next time we get to meet privately. But this would be a great time just to ask maybe some generic questions about St. Rose. And I will glance at the chat if you feel more comfortable to ask in the chat. but you can also take yourself off mute and ask as well.
Hey, Miss Penwell, hi.
Yes.
Over here.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, hi. I put it in the chat, but you could ignore that. I was just curious if Mrs. Blair is moving from 4th grade to the resource room, then who fills in 4th grade next year? Is it somebody on the call, or will that be a new person?
That will be a new person.
Okay.
Yep, great question. So we will be looking to hire a new 4th grade teacher, and we will be looking to hire a new counselor.
Oh, gotcha. Great. Thank you.
Yep. The hours for the pre-K program are actually the exact same as the rest of the school. So they start at 8 and they end at 3. And then they just have that early release day, just like the rest of us, on Wednesdays at 2:15. I will say, because this is always something that I always seem to kind of forget in my presentation, but it seems to be a question that comes up, is about middle school and what our middle school model looks like. So if we have any families that are looking at middle school, they do rotate in middle school. And so that's why Mrs. Penwell, Mr. Marino, and Mrs. Fisher mentioned that they are like the 8th grade homeroom, but then Mrs. Fisher, for example, teaches language arts for all of middle school. So the middle school students will rotate and go to a different class to be with a different teacher. And then Miss Zielinski is our music teacher, like she mentioned, but then she also is our middle school religion. So they also see her as well as all of our other specialists. So they get to experience the middle school life, and then which truly helps prepare them for their transition to high school.
I'd love to say.
Oh, yes, sorry, go ahead. Oh, I missed it. Are there any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. I need to keep looking at the chat. For our dress code, if you are more curious on specifics, we do have on our St. Rose website, strosepdx.org, our policies for uniforms, as far as there is certain items like jumpers that the girls can wear, but then they can also wear pants and shorts just like the boys. So that kind of shares the logistics of our uniform policy. So if you are interested in meeting privately, the next step, if you have not already, is to apply to the school. And that you can do that by St. Rose PDX. And actually, I'll put that in the chat box, strosepdx.org. But you can apply now. And once you apply, it comes straight to our school in our emails. And then you will hear from Mrs. Randazzo about setting up a time to meet with me. And, oops. Are there after school programs for pre-K 5 days a week? Can you just specify if you mean like our after school program, or are you talking about other like clubs? Okay, I'm not sure on that one. So so we do have after school, which is for pre-K all the way to 8, and that goes till 6 p.m. every night. So if you needed to take part in our after school program 5 nights a week, you could until 6 p.m. And the financial assistance question, you put all your information in our confidential program, fax, and it takes into account what your actual income is, as well as quite a few other variables, and then it will provide us with guidance of what your need is for tuition assistance.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I have a son who would be entering 3rd grade and then a daughter entering kindergarten. And I was just curious if you could talk a little bit about kindergarten expectations for entrance, like if there are any academic expectations that you have, but then also for 3rd grade and just, I guess, any other elementary year. I'm curious how I understand you're talking a lot about the virtue-based curriculum and then the Catholic education, which is obviously different from public school. We would be switching in from a public school. I'm curious if there are other differences academically that you could talk about, like, for instance, do you use the same curriculum? Do you, like math, for example, is it the same math books as in PPS? Do you use a different, is it a Catholic-based math curriculum? Is it something else? I'm kind of curious about some of those differences as well.
Yes. Okay. You asked a lot, so I'm going to try and remember everything. This is the game. Okay. First question was entrance for kindergarten. So what we like to do for kindergarten is really a lot of our dialogue with you privately to figure out where your child is will be honestly the entrance exam. We don't actually do an assessment before we entered kindergarten. We have thought about moving to that direction just to help support parents a little bit better over the summer, if there are some areas that they should just work on to help support the transition. So that is something we're looking at, but we do not currently have anything right now. Let's see. And then your next question. Well, for your other child, and this speaks just to everybody, if your child is in 1st grade or up, so 1st grade to 8th grade, we do a virtual, we do a shadow day. And in this world, we're doing a virtual shadow day. So when you apply and when you meet with me, if you are still wanting to pursue a spot at St. Rose, our next step will be to set up a shadow day. This is really important just because we feel like having the child actually get an opportunity to kind of have a day at our school to see how they feel and how they fit and just what they think of St. Rose is really important. And they get to meet their possible classmates. So that will be something that we will schedule. We've actually already done some virtual visits. And so it's been going pretty smoothly with having them just join a few live classes and get to meet the classmates and the teacher, and then they get to partake in a few activities. And then in 1st grade and up, we also do some assessments. So that could kind of touch base with what you mentioned with kindergarten. So with 1st grade and up, we do a writing assessment and we do an online assessment. And so that will also be shared with you on how to make all that happen in a virtual land. But that's been great. And then as far as curriculum, which I think was your next question, we have curriculum standards that we get from the Archdiocese of Portland, and they give us suggested curriculum and textbooks to pick from, essentially. And so there could be some overlap with some of what those are being used in public school. I can't say specific that they are all the same, but there are definitely some that I know overlap. We like to use curriculum that is scope and sequence, so that like everybody in kindergarten through 5th grade is using Envision's math, and it focuses on a sequence so that the teachers can build upon the mastery of skills. And so that's kind of, I hope that answers your question. And I don't know if I don't know if I missed one other one.
You did great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Kalia, and my husband and I were just wondering if you all teach any foreign languages, and if so, when that starts.
Great question. So in years past, we've done Spanish, and it was actually just decided last spring when we had to pivot to distance learning, that Spanish was really hard on distance learning for kids that had no idea, really kind of, it was a brand new language to them. And we were instructed by the Department of Catholic Schools to really focus on the core subjects last spring. So all the specialists, Spanish included, became just optional activities for families to do. And we did have some great participation, but it definitely just wasn't as big of a priority as the core subjects. So with that said, we really evaluated where we were and where COVID was, and tried our best to kind of predict where we were going to be this year, and felt like Spanish in the school day was going to be a lot to try to still manage when we had so much learning from the spring that we really felt like we needed to kind of make up for what kids had missed as far as just, having to be in distance learning. So we made Spanish to be an after school optional program that parents could join if they wanted. I think we have every desire to want to bring it back. We're just trying to figure out the best format of that, given just kind of the current situation. So Spanish is the Spanish is the language. And we had been doing it kindergarten all the way to 8th grade. So it starts in kindergarten. Great question. Okay, let's see if I missed anything over here. Feel free to jump in if you have a question in the meantime. So I don't know if Andrew, if you wouldn't mind taking yourself off mute. So if a pre-K child moved to public school for kindergarten in the fall, I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question.
Well, so the tuition rate is the annual rate. So would you pay the annual rate if you went, say, starting from now until, say, September? Would you pay the annual rate, or would it be an adjusted rate?
Are you saying like if you enrolled in the middle of the year? Like right now? We are actually not, we are not admitting any students in the middle of the year. So we are looking just at students for the 21-22 year. So September.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that I asked, because I was like, I'm not really sure. So yes, so we're looking at for next school year.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Are there any grades for which you are not accepting applications for next year? You know what? We actually have current openings in all grades. So we are accepting applications in all grades. And we do have CYO baseball.
Hi, I'm Megan. I was curious about what is kind of historically, what would be like the smallest class size you guys would keep if you have, some years you might have a smaller class size. So how small could the class get?
That's an interesting question. Well, I will say that our pre-K, we cap pre-K at 20. So that is our smallest class size theoretically, because the state regulations for pre-K is 20 students. And the ratio for pre-K is 1-10. So once we hit past 10 students, we have another adult. So that's kind of why you met Mrs. Coonrath as the lead teacher, and then Miss Knopfsinger is the aide. So 20 is for pre-K. And then I would say we don't necessarily try to keep a small number for a student, or for a class. We are just trying not to go over 30. Does that make sense? I might need you to ask your question again.
So essentially, like I grew up in the parochial school system, and some schools, they'd have, classes where it's a single class model across the grades, right? And the class could be as small as like 15 kids. So what I'm wondering is, do you guys ever experience enrollment that low that your kiddo would be in a class with, 12 peers, for example?
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I was trying to figure out it like in a different way. Yes, we have experienced that. So for instance, our 5th grade class this year just happens, and so there's only 18 in our 5th grade class. So there is some dynamics just kind of based on luck of what happens that year, where there have been situations where a class has been smaller. The other class that I can say that just happens to be smaller right now is our 1st grade. There's only 16 in our 1st grade. And then, you know, on the total different spectrum, then we have, you know, our middle school, which is normally always 30, 30, and 30 for 6th, 7th, and 8th. So it can just vary based on just the year. So I hope that clarifies. Great question about students that may have disabilities or special needs. Yes, that's a great conversation to have with me. I really want to work with you guys to be the best fit we can for your student. So being honest with really, you know, what special needs or learning disabilities happening is really important for us to know, because then I will be able to give you a really honest answer if we have the staffing and the support for that. One of the main reasons we established a learning resource teacher, Mrs. Blair, was because we saw more and more of a need to help support kids with various learning needs, and we just needed extra support in that. So that was a specific position that we brought on board because we are seeing a lot in various classes, and we just want to be able to offer extra support. So Mrs. Blair in previous years has done like small group pullouts. We like to work on both ends of the spectrum as far as like academics and behaviors. So like we have various kids that are in kind of the higher level academically. So we're trying to figure out how to challenge them and keep enriching them, as well as those that maybe aren't meeting benchmark or grade level standards. And so we're trying to also help them in supporting their academics. So we're working kind of in both of those areas for support. And then I had an awesome thought and I just lost it. And then she also pushes into different classrooms and can also co-teach. She can also do some one-on-one services. And so that's been a great asset also to our school. We have drop-off begins at 7:40. And what happens is the students get dropped off in our large playground, blacktop area in the back, and we have staff members that are out there greeting your kids. And then like our parent mentioned, Ben, we have 8th graders that part of their job is to be at school early and help and mentor the kids to help them get out of the cars and get to their line spots. And they wait outside with their classmates in their class lines. And then we officially start heading into the building at a few minutes before 8 to then get us back into the classrooms, ready to start at 8. And yes, great question about mass. Each week we have a different class that takes the lead for mass, and they are in charge of the readings, and they help bring up the gifts. When we have altar servers, which we have a lot of them, they are able to altar serve. I'm getting happy because we haven't had this in a while, and it's really great to get to see the kids get to partake in the mass. Right now, all the teachers are doing it, so it's a little bit different. But so the kids get to be altar servers if they have been trained. Anybody can read, so like our teachers just ask for volunteers to read, and they go to the church and they practice and they get to partake. And then Miss Zelinsky, our music teacher, has different kids that get to participate in the choir, so you can also participate in the choir. And so we just cycle, and actually we start with 8th grade, the first mass, and we just kind of work our way down, and we go all the way to 2nd grade, and then we go back up, And then first grade, as they get more to the spring, they get to be in charge of a mass because it's a little bit more nerve-wracking for them. But once they see so many other grades do it, then they get really excited about their opportunity to do it. So that's really fun. And we love inviting families to come, especially on days when their children are participating and leading the mass, because it's really fun to get to have them show off their skills in front of the school community. Do most kids move on to private high school? That's an awesome question as well. We have a very good majority that do. I would say that especially those that maybe came from public school, maybe weren't anticipating that they wanted to go to a private school. But once they joined St. Rose and they just loved the values and the community and the mass aspect, they decided to continue on with their journey in private schools. And so we have a large amount that go to Central and LaSalle. And then we have always a few that apply to St. Mary's. Every now and again, Jesuit, just kind of based on location. And then there are a few that do also choose to go to the public school as well. And Grant is normally kind of our feeder school that they choose to go to if they do go to public school. Have I decided? We are working really diligently on our returning to in-person learning. I have actually 2 members on this call on my task force team who have met with me since June, just constantly as things ever change. We are doing our best to figure out what is the safest and smartest choice for our school and our students to get them in the building when we can in a safe learning environment. So we are working right now with our new developments that just came from ODE to figure out what our true benchmarks are for returning for in-person. What we had been focusing on before the governor made her recent announcement was the metrics those were driving our decisions. And so that's why we did continue to stay in distance learning, because the metrics continued to be very unsafe. And so we really put all of our eggs in how to have a really successful distance learning program, because we knew that that's where we were at. And so now we're looking also at what it looks like to have some more in-person learning as soon as we can, because we definitely miss having the kids. Okay, sorry. This reminds me of every call I'm ever on where it's like the person has to read everything, but I appreciate you guys bearing with me as I read all of them. Mrs. Penwell, if you want to answer on one that I might have missed, I think you noted that I might have missed a question. So if you want to answer on that while I read this last one.
I think there was a question about teaching the kids about social justice. Each of the teachers definitely do, but I know as the leadership, I help with the 8th graders in the leadership. And one activity that we are doing this year that the leadership team really wanted to speak about was choosing a book, a children's book, reading about it, and then sharing it with the younger grades. So they are going to create like a video. I told them that that was kind of a way that I learned the best, and the kids would really listen to them by capturing, like, you know, what was the author trying to share in that story, and then giving a personal note. So the 8th graders are really taking a lead on that. They also are preparing a slideshow that they really wanted to share at the Friday morning assembly. So I saw that and I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. So Ted, this is a great question. We haven't noticed anything yet. We aren't anticipating having children repeat, specifically because of what we are really diligently doing in our distance learning to really master the core subjects and the standards in each subject, because it is a very different way of teaching, and the amount of things you can accomplish in the classroom and distance learning are different. So we have been instructed by the Department of Catholic Schools to just work on with our teachers to teach the core power standards is kind of what they're calling it. So like when you're in second grade, what are the power things of math that you should really know and get down to help that transition to third grade. So that's kind of been our focus in all of the different subjects, is those power standards to figure out to make that transition the best. And then something that we just did as a staff after the spring was allowed time for them to talk to the previous teacher to kind of get the dynamics of the students that were enrolled in St. Rose, so that we could see, what are areas of strength and challenge in each student, so that we can support them the best we can. So we will really do our best to support all the new students coming in. We had a lot of new students actually this year, and what we did to kind of help that transition was the teachers all sent out ideas to do over the summer of just things to kind of keep practicing and doing, because we had been so long in person. And so that will be something I know that we'll continue to help support. And then just dialogue. I mean, we really want to work with you guys. So we're going to have those honest conversations about where your child is academically, so that we can best support them. That's why, sounds silly, but like the assessments that your children will take if they come on a virtual visit, it's really important you don't help them with it, because we don't want to know what mom and dad know. We want to know what your child knows, so we can really best support them to really find out where they are, so that we know, okay, we're coming in and, let's say we have 12 people out of the 30 that are all doing XYZ below grade level. Okay, then we got to teach to where they are at. So that's also just a really important aspect of the virtual visit, is to figure out where children are so we can best support them. Chromebooks. So we have Chromebooks, and good thing, because we have lots of people that are using them. So we have Chromebooks that are designated for our middle schoolers. And so they're not officially assigned to them. Like we don't have a, like you purchase one. We actually are thinking of going in that direction, but right now we just have a set of Chromebooks, and the middle schoolers share them, and as well as iPads. And then we also have Chromebooks and iPads that are used amongst pre-K through kindergarten, or excuse me, that doesn't make sense. Pre-K through fifth grade that also share and use the devices as well. Some great questions. All right. Well, I won't leave anybody on a Zoom longer than anybody really wants to be, but I really appreciate you guys taking the time to learn about St. Rose. It's a really important decision, just family, about the school that you'd like to join and the community that you like to join. So I hope you enjoyed learning about us, and I look forward to hopefully meeting a lot of you on a one-on-one and just hearing more about your family and your desires for your child as they continue to grow and learn. So thank you very much for joining, and I will hopefully hear and see some of you soon. So take care.